Thursday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
Peyton claimed she was stabbed outside of our house. I do believe that Peyton stabbed herself.
A mystery.
They don't believe their sister.
They don't even listen or give her a chance.
You said these two need to get help.
Tearing a family apart.
It sounds crazy, I know. All the time she was lying and she knew it.
Were you attacked, or did in fact you stab yourself? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
This is a safe place to talk about hard things.
Stand by. We'll count you down.
I'll try to be an emotional compass and point you in the right direction.
5, 4.
I am not giving up on you. From a mysterious stabbing that is said to have taken place outside her home to an attempted suicide and a sexual assault during a house party. These are just some of the horrible things, and a whole lot more, Laura says, have happened to her 17-year-old daughter, Peyton. Now, Peyton's older sisters, Madison and Jordan, say Peyton has a serious problem telling the truth. They even suspect that Peyton is lying about being stabbed and about being sexually assaulted. Take a look.
Peyton is extremely toxic, disrespectful, manipulative, and selfish.
There is chaos in my family, and I'm completely fed up with it. My mother cannot control my sister. Peyton's only 17, and she parties at the house.
She got really into drinking alcohol, and then she got really into smoking weed every day.
I get so frustrated that the youngest sister can control our whole family.
Throughout my senior year, Peyton attempted suicide, and she was sexually assaulted and claimed that somebody had stabbed her. I do believe that Peyton stabbed herself, and I think it was just another cry for attention. Peyton lies all the time about where she's going. One night, Peyton said she was going to her friend's house. I saw a picture of her with a boy, and they said something like, "Last night was crazy." And in the picture, she looks very intoxicated.
My mom's quick to jump to Peyton's defense, or she feels that Peyton's getting ganged up on. It definitely hurts Jordan and I. Peyton's manipulative behavior has pushed Jordan and I away from my mom.
I just choose not to be in the same room as her because in the past when Peyton and I have argued, she has called me a bitch, told me that she'll punch me in the face.
It's like night and day. She turns into this creature. It's just this evil-looking face, like she's mad at everything you've ever done before.
My mom has called the cops on Peyton several times. Peyton gets to that point where she's so out of control and just screaming and rocking. I am scared of what she's capable of. I'm scared what she can do to herself and what she can do to my mom and what she can do to me.
Well, Mom Laura admits she isn't the best disciplinarian or parent, and we have noticed a few questionable behaviors while preparing the show. From the very beginning, it appears Peyton has been trying to control her mom and what she says to us. Now, Peyton even sent a list of demands for being on the show. We'll talk about that later. All I know is that at this point, Mom Laura isn't doing much to help Peyton.
I'm failing as a mom because I can't set the boundaries. I called the police when Peyton assaulted me. There's always going to be the argument that she's going to move out, that I don't love her. I have told her I don't want any drugs in my house. I've come home and I can smell an odor of marijuana. When I've confronted her about the pot smoking, she has denied it. Peyton is able to manipulate me. I'm the easiest target. If this continues, this type of behavior is only going to put her in a downward spiral, and she's going to fail.
Okay, Peyton is here, but I wanted to talk to the three of you first. And I want to start with you, Mom. I feel like we have the tail wagging the dog here in terms of Peyton running you and running this whole process, and I don't get that.
I don't know. I don't know what to do for her.
Is she manipulating you?
She can manipulate me at times, yes.
Does she guilt-induce you?
Absolutely.
And are you parenting from fear?
Probably so.
You are like, you two need to quit ganging up on your sister. You two need to quit saying these things. You said these two need to get help. There's something wrong with them that they don't believe their sister.
They don't even listen or give her a chance.
And you've lost your brother. And tell me where that leaves you.
He had a seizure and his brain stopped. So he quit breathing. And he called me the night before and I never took the call.
Yeah. And do you feel like you let him down?
I wasn't there for him. I should have done more. I should have protected him more.
Why did he have a seizure?
He had an addiction with alcohol.
You afraid you're going to make a wrong decision with Peyton and get a similar result?
Every day. Every day.
You two think Peyton knows this and uses that against her?
Yeah, I think she just knows how vulnerable my mom is with things like that, and she's really keen on knowing what strings to pull, and I think that just adds into her manipulation.
I think you're right. I think Peyton is in danger. I think she's making really bad decisions. Somebody needs to stand up to this girl and call things for what they are. I don't think this is a Peyton problem. I think this is a family problem. And I'm trying to assess my resources because I truly believe that she is capable of making incredibly self-destructive decisions. 50% of all suicidal deaths, I believe, are accidental. They don't intend to really die. They just intend to get attention or have a cry for help or whatever cliche you want to put on it, but they miscalculate and then go, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. And I think this girl is dramatic enough and manipulative enough and histrionic enough to get herself in trouble if somebody doesn't step up and deal with reality here.
I agree. That's why I admire you so much. I respect you, and I really thought there's one person, because I take blame, I know.
I owe her the truth. Somebody needs to tell her the truth, and you have to facilitate the truth, not a lie. I don't enable people, and I won't enable her, and I won't have you enabling her in my presence. So that's what you're going to do. You're in the wrong place.
I understand.
I'm not going to, I don't want you to beat up on your sister. I'm not here to hurt her. I'm here to help her. But we got to tell her the truth. So are you prepared to do that?
Yes. Yep. 2 years ago, this was a completely different person. That's why it's so hard. This is not the same
She'll be
person.
just as dead.
I know.
Regardless of why she's doing what she's doing. You get what I'm saying? She has to be stopped. I believe she does constitute a clear and present danger to herself. And you are buying into it. So what could possibly make Jordan and Madison question Peyton's statements about being sexually assaulted and stabbed? We'll meet Peyton. We'll find out what all this is about when we come back.
When I get angry, sometimes I can't control it. My mom is very stubborn. Jordan does hate me. We haven't spoken in a year. No one in my family understands me.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, the controversial documentary
Stephen Avery says he's being set up.
I'm innocent.
that has America talking.
Avery murdered her. They cut his finger probably where he was chopping up her body.
These people deserve a fair trial.
Exclusive interviews with the sheriff
I'll share the bombshell he dropped.
and Avery's lawyer.
I was shocked to hear him say,
I'm hearing this for the first time.
All new Dr. Phil. That's tomorrow.
One time, Peyton did attack my mom.
Peyton assaulted me last summer when she wanted to run away.
Peyton wanted to go and hang out with her boyfriend. My mom said no. Peyton didn't agree with that. They got into a fight.
It was probably 12:30 at night, and she told me she was going, and I told her she wasn't. I had to sit in front of her door in her room. She tore the door down, started heading towards the front door, and she's taller than I am quite a bit. I held the door, and she was trying to open it on me.
Peyton ran at her and then had her held like this, punching her in the back.
When I had her in the headlock, she was hitting my lower back to try to get me to release.
My mom called the cops and said, my daughter's trying to run away. I really need some help. Peyton got on the phone, and they said, are you abused? And Peyton said, yes. Please come get me. I don't want to be hurt anymore. Telling this whole fake story, staring at my mom and smiling. Just completely deranged.
Jordan and Madison are here today because they want their mom to snap out of it and stop enabling their younger sister Peyton. They say she lies and manipulates to get attention and is the cause of a lot of drama in this family. Now, Peyton disagrees and says her family just simply doesn't understand her.
I am planning to move out after I'm 18. I want my independence. I want to be able to be the boss of me. I want to be able to decide like what happens to me and what I do. And living with my mom, I know it will always be conflicts. My mom and I don't see eye to eye. My mom is very stubborn. I was talking about moving out, and we got in such a fight over it. She called the cops. When she calls the police, it makes me feel like she thinks of me as like a bad person. Like she doesn't believe that I could take care of myself. I feel betrayed by her. My mom likes to talk to other people, especially like my sister, about me, and like she's telling my secrets. Sometimes I'll get so frustrated that I cry, sometimes I get so angry, and sometimes I just don't want to talk to her at all. When I get angry, basically starts in the pit of my stomach that like no one listens to me. When I get angry, sometimes I can't control it. Over the years, I really have dealt with depression. Sometimes I feel like my family, they're just waiting for me to fix myself. I think Jordan thinks I use depression as an excuse. I was 15 when I first tried to overdose. I took the pills and then immediately regretted it, but it really wasn't my intention to die. I do believe that Jordan does hate me. We haven't spoken in a year. Jordan makes me feel like a burden, like she'd be happier if I wasn't there. No one in my family understands me. I feel like an outcast.
All right, Peyton, I'm glad you're here. Did you want to be here, or did you resist coming here?
I did want to come for my mom, but I did resist just because I was really scared.
You wanted to come for your mom with what goal for her?
To fix our family.
So how is this family broken, in your opinion?
So that we don't talk to each other. We blame each other, and then we are okay with like not trying to fix it ourselves.
How do you get along with these two?
Jordan and I usually just ignore each other. Maddie and I have just fixed our relationship recently.
Why do you two ignore each other?
Just the way as it stands, I don't really want a relationship with her right now.
Why?
Because I'm tired of the way that she treats my mom, and I just think that she makes decisions to do drugs and stuff that I don't agree with, and that's my own personal belief system, and I don't think that I should change it for somebody, regardless if I'm related to them or not.
How does she treat your mother that's offensive to your sensibilities?
She's just doesn't care how she treats her. She's very abusive and disrespectful, and it takes a toll on my mom, and she just doesn't realize or doesn't care.
Is that true?
I know I fight with my mom a lot, but I know that Jordan and I both have a lot of problems with mom. I know over the last year I probably had a lot more, but I know we both need to treat mom a lot better.
How do you feel about that?
I think Jordan really does respect me. Jordan actually has my back a lot.
Do you think Peyton respects you?
She will, but I think she has a hard time with it.
Do you think Peyton respects you?
Probably not.
Do you respect your mother, or do you just run over her?
I do respect her, and I know I owe her everything. But then it's always in the moment I forget, and I feel so guilty.
Do you bully her?
I think it can come off that way. I don't think I intentionally bully her. I never want to bully my mom.
You know that she's grieving the loss of her brother.
Yeah.
You know that she feels guilty about the loss of her brother. Do you use that to your advantage? Do you leverage her with that?
No. I don't think I use death of my uncle at all. If anything, I try not to talk about it.
Do you think she uses that against you?
I think she knows I'm vulnerable and that I'm not able to be the strict mom I used to be.
You had a set of demands that you made about coming on the show. I don't want it to turn marijuana intervention. I'm not going to be the only person blamed. Stop saying I'm threatening to move out when I'm 18. I shouldn't be punished or made out that I'm threatening you. You put all of my crazy out there, then admit you don't always help. If you put all the bad stuff I've done out there, put all of yours and Jordan's and Maddie's too. I swear I'll never talk to you again if you go back on this one. If you call me manipulative or bipolar, you better admit you are too. I will not go into detail about anything with rape, drugs, and suicide. No posting on social media or sharing Dr. Phil video.
Yeah, I sent that when I was angry with my mom.
When Peyton was 15, Laura says the unthinkable happened. We'll talk about that next.
After I was sexually assaulted, I wanted to die. Madison and Jordan said that they said I deserved it.
When Peyton was 15, Laura says the unthinkable happened. During a night of partying and underage drinking, Peyton was sexually assaulted. Jordan blames Peyton for putting herself in that situation. Laura says this is when she first noticed her family picking sides and turning against each other.
After I was sexually assaulted, I wanted to die. I didn't want to live. I didn't want to be in so much pain. Madison and Jordan said that it was my fault that I had friends over and that I had let them bring alcohol. And they said that I deserved it.
Okay. This happened how long ago?
About 2 years now.
And you told your mom about it when?
Right after.
And your reaction to it was what?
When I first heard it, you know, I didn't really know. This is right in the middle of, there's been a lot of things going on, so I didn't know how to feel. I went to school after, started hearing a lot of different things. Part of me felt like she was just said that so that she didn't get in trouble because that was her usual thing. She would do something she would get in trouble for, and then she would create a story so she never got in trouble. And I never said that, you know, she deserved it or whatever. I didn't know if it was true or not.
Did you talk to her about it, Madison?
To Peyton? Yeah, actually, she called me that night, and that was when we weren't speaking at all, so it was really out of the norm for me to even answer the phone call, but I figured if she was even calling me, something was up. So I answered, and that was when she was in the ambulance, and of course I was shocked, and even though we fought, she was still my family, and that was something traumatic, so I talked to her. I remember being like, this means you're never going to do this again, right, Peyton? Like, drinking and drugs or whatever, and so I mean, I tried to be there, but after the phone call, I wasn't there like I should have been.
And was this person prosecuted, arrested, prosecuted?
No.
What happened in that regard?
They started looking into it, and it was about 2 months after that I had tried to commit suicide again, and they ended up just dropping everything.
How do you feel about that?
Powerless.
And you're telling the truth about it? But there's been no prosecution of it whatsoever?
No.
Why?
Because they thought that They knew that I had lied about my suicide attempt afterwards.
When you say they found out that you lied about a suicide attempt, tell me what you mean.
It was about 2 or 3 months afterwards. I had tried to commit suicide, and I got scared when they started asking questions, and I said that it wasn't me, and I blamed it on someone else. I said I didn't know.
What wasn't you?
Oh, that somebody else had attacked me, I said.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, what we're talking about is that there was an incident where Payton reported that she had been attacked outside her home and stabbed.
Payton claimed that she was stabbed outside of our house last year.
None of the facts have added up from it. She said the stabber ran up to her from the woods, stabbed her, and ran away. They didn't put the knife completely in. They left the knife. None of that adds up to me. I definitely don't think they would leave the knife halfway in someone's stomach.
The girls think she may have hurt herself. I believe absolutely it happened to her because the story's never changed.
Payton's changed the story multiple times. She said maybe it was the guy who sexually assaulted her, maybe it was some random guy. Then one time she said maybe it was my mom.
For anyone who doesn't believe it or they blame her, I think they need to get counseling.
The knife was from our kitchen. I do believe that Payton stabbed herself, and I think it was just another cry for attention.
We'll talk about that after the break. You reported to the police and to your family that you had been attacked outside your home, that you had been stabbed in the abdomen, is that right?
Yeah.
And that was what you told your mother, it's what you told your sisters, that's what you told the police. Mm. And you've maintained that that's what happened, you've been challenged about it. Your sisters, you two questioned it, right? Why did you question it?
There were so many parts of the story that didn't add up at all to us. A lot of just the details, and the details changed. Just like, for instance, the fact that she said the person who stabbed her had run up, stabbed her, and run away, and the knife was a knife from our kitchen. When the ambulance showed up, she pulled it out, even though they asked the knife out of her stomach, even though they were like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And it was like halfway in. So it didn't seem like a stabbing at all to me.
Why did you question it?
Well, I spent the whole night with the police. I got asked to come to the house because I was the last one there before it had happened. And then when I went to the hospital the next morning to visit her, same was, do you want to see my scar? Which I thought was very odd, because if something like that, just immediately, I don't think that would be the first natural reaction someone would do. And then after that, you know, if you tried to ask her about it, she just would deflect and never really give a clear answer, and who did it kept changing. And so after that, I just couldn't believe it.
Were you attacked and stabbed?
No.
Or did, in fact, you stab yourself?
It was myself. It was me, sorry.
You did it to yourself?
Yeah, I was in just a really bad place. I don't even, now I know back, looking back, I think I was just crazy.
She shared with me this weekend. She said she just wanted to feel like we protected her and we loved her. And she never meant to hurt any of us, and then she got caught up in a lie. She didn't know how to back out of it.
But you have to understand, Mom, you know how much that you and I have fought because of that, and how much family have hated me because they said that I was lying and that I didn't believe her. And all the time she was lying and she knew it. And she made me feel like it was my fault.
And Jordan felt really guilty that night, that she felt she didn't protect Payton because she told Payton not to go, and she felt so guilty for leaving the house because she'd heard something in the woods. And so she was scared, and she'd even told Payton, you know, if you go, be with someone. And so Jordan carried that guilt on her shoulders, like she could have done something different to stop Payton from being attacked. And she was scared to go to her own home after that she would be attacked.
It's just been a constant lie ever since it happened. And it's affected my life so much. And I just asked for her to fess up, and she never would. I wish I could explain, but it was... I mean, at the time, I felt like no one cared that I had been sexually assaulted. I felt like no one wanted to talk to me, no one wanted to even, like, look at me or treat me the same. And I remember thinking that I just wanted to see that they cared. I know it was completely wrong, and then afterwards, I mean, obviously, they recoiled even more. And then I felt like they already hated me so much. Like, it sounds crazy. I know I'm crazy. I know my whole family thinks I'm crazy, and they have a right to. And I know my thinking was not in the right frame back then. I know it was wrong. I regret it with all of my being, but I guess I just wanted to see that they cared, and that was really selfish. But afterwards, I wanted to tell them. There's just so many things. I didn't want them to, like, walk me away.
Your mother says these two need counseling. There's something wrong with them. They're so jealous that they can't believe you when you say you were stabbed outside the house. They need help, not you.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. From Making a Murderer.
Avery killed Teresa Hallback.
The sheriff drops a bombshell.
I was shocked to hear him say,
I'm hearing this for the first time.
That's tomorrow.
You know, I spend about half of my time hearing what isn't said.
Yeah. Makes sense.
And I have two things to say. One is, I don't think you're crazy. I don't know what that means. I think that's a derogatory term, and I don't even know what that means. I think you're in a lot of pain. I think you're confused. And I think you don't know how to cope with a lot of things that are going on in your life. I think that's what you mean. If that's what you mean by crazy, then okay. I think you're in a lot of pain, and I think you're confused. I haven't heard you say you were sorry to either of your sisters. I heard her say that her life has been hell, with self-condemnation for feeling like she let you down, for feeling like wasn't there like she should have been, that she has been ostracized, criticized, beat up on. Hell, I've got a piece of tape where your mother says these two need counseling. There's something wrong with them. They're so jealous that they can't believe you when you say you were stabbed outside the house. They need help, not you.
No, I think I'm the only one that needs help.
And that's what they've been dealing with. And you can't even look at your sister and say, I'm sorry for what I put you through. You didn't deserve that, and I'm sorry.
I am sorry, Jordan. I'm sorry I ever hurt you. I didn't want to ruin our relationship. I wanted to say sorry. I just didn't think you cared. If I didn't care, then why wouldn't I have been at the hospital? I never saw you. I didn't know you were there. After you got stabbed, they told me that you didn't come. I was there in the car with you when we drove home. No, honestly, you never came up to my room. When I got put in the hospital, I didn't see you. I was in the room with you after. I stayed there the entire day after I got no sleep because I spent the whole night with the cops talking and trying to defend you that you wouldn't have stabbed yourself. I honestly don't remember seeing you. What about after that? When Mom told you I was there, you never said anything to me. I didn't want to talk to you because I knew you were lying, and all you did was say that I was a horrible person because I didn't believe you, and you started being mean to me, and you never, ever said thank you for coming. You have no idea what that entire 24 hours did to me, and you didn't care because all you saw was that you were the one in pain and you were the one that was hurt, and you don't care about anybody else.
But Jordan, she has tried to apologize to you at least 3 times.
5 months later, what is that going to do? It does nothing to me.
She did reach out. She tried.
It's too late. It hurts too badly.
I don't think it's ever too late. If you were just giving her a chance and really listen to her.
Well, what if you give me a chance and you listen to me?
I do listen to you guys all the time.
Don't.
Yes, I do.
Wow. Boy, I'm sure hearing what isn't said again. You're the one that said you need help, you're sick because you don't believe your sister.
We all need help. I think that was my fault. She was just trying to protect me.
Wow.
And it's...
How about, I am sorry I judged you in that way. I'm sorry I didn't listen to you. I'm sorry I was so busy enabling your little sister that I didn't listen to your voice of reason and rationale and judged you and criticized you. And next, what will it take for this family to open their eyes and realize everyone on this stage has played a role in the demise of this family and its integrity? We'll be right back.
In the Los Angeles area and you would like free tickets, go to drphil.com and click on Be in the Audience.
Or you can call 323-461-PHIL.
My sisters and I did fight a lot growing up. There was jealousy. I really was jealous of Madison and Jordan. I was jealous that they were cheerleaders, that they were skinny, that they could share clothes. I really was chubby growing up, and it's always been a problem. I grew up in their shadow.
Peyton has always been jealous of my relationship with Manny.
Jordan and I had a lot of the same friends. We just started forming a very, very tight bond.
I think that she was just babied a lot because she was the youngest.
I started gaining animosity towards Peyton. So there definitely was kind of like a competition-ish between us. I think to Peyton it was she wanted to just be like her sisters.
Resentment, guilt, depression, attempted suicide, lies, manipulation. Laura says she's known her family needs help, but she's given up trying to hold herself and her girls together. She just kind of says she's beyond on her heels. She's spinning out of control. You have 1, 2, 3 beautiful daughters here. And despite the fact that she is struggling with some issues, this is a well-socialized, intelligent, articulate young woman right here, as are these 2 girls. You've done an awful lot right, Mom, and you should be proud of these 3 girls right here. I didn't say these 2 girls, I said these 3 girls. I started this by saying you're making some bad decisions. Let me tell you something, girl. You go outside the house and stab yourself in the stomach with a steak knife from your kitchen, you are making some bad decisions. And that means that your decision-making skills are compromised. Your problem recognition skills are compromised. Now, I don't know whether you were sexually assaulted or not. I believe you until somebody or something tells me otherwise. And if that turns out to be a lie, then okay, I've been lied to. But you know what? I would rather believe 1,000 people and in the middle of there one lies to me than fail to believe even one that was in fact victimized, that needed to believed and was not. If you're manipulating me and lying to me, then you just get swept along with the other 999, because I'm not going to turn my back on a victim.
I know, but I came on here to be 100% truthful. I want to talk about all the suicide attempts, which I don't talk about at all, and lie about rape, because that's the worst thing that's ever happened to me, and it's not a game to me. I don't joke around about it.
I'm very, very sorry. You know, the world can be a difficult place to live in and survive. If you get to a point where you've got to watch your own back at home, then you have no soft place to fall. If you go out there, you got to kind of, you know, be on your toes and kind of watch, because there are predators among us, there are problems out there. But if when you go home, you don't have a soft place to fall, then there's never anywhere that you can, you know, take a deep breath. I'm going to tell you what I think needs to happen. I think you need a concentrated intervention. I think you need a concentrated timeout. I'm going to offer you guys an option. It's something that I want to do with you, not to you. It's up to you what you want to do. I did a deep dive on this and tried to come up with a place where you could be 100% selfish in your own behalf and really focus on you. And that place is called Destinations to Recovery. It is a short-term inpatient facility which takes place in a very upscale home setting. This isn't some institution. Takes place in a very upscale home setting. It provides really exceptional treatment for teens and their families that are suffering from whether it's substance abuse or mental health issues. And this is something where you don't carve out a target patient. This has to do with the patient and their families. Because if you work on her and you don't change anything in the family dynamic and you bring her back to the same family, there's no point in doing it at all. And even though it's short term, you're able to continue all educational momentum while you're there. You don't lose any time in any way. I asked Dr. Candace Till to join us today. She's here. This is hi, Candace.
Hi.
Your program could not be a better fit for Peyton if we just designed it for her. Would you agree?
I agree, 100%. And I have to first, I want to commend you for telling your story and being honest and how brave that is. And I see a lot of love in this family, and I see a lot of healing that can occur. And at Destinations to Recovery, I think you're going to find a lot of hope and solution. And
I want you to all go back and sit down together backstage and talk about this. And you need to step up and be a mother and make a decision here and make this happen. But I have a sneaking suspicion that the maturity of your thinking is where it needs to be. You need to do this for yourself at this point. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
I agree too. It's time that we start the healing and move on with all this. We'll be right back. Ready to get real? Go to drphil.com for advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episodes, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phil community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. I want to thank all of my guests today. I want to give a special thanks to Dr. Candace Till and Destinations to Recovery for stepping up and helping this very deserving family. If you would permit me and my staff a personal note to talk about ourselves for a minute, which we don't often do. I would just like to take a moment to say that over the weekend we lost a very important member of our Dr. Phil family here, Don Davis, one of our cameramen here, the one that stands next to Robin for the taping of our show, passed away in a very untimely fashion over the weekend. And, you know, I won't be able to say something that I've always said. It really is a family here. You hear people say that, but I have 7 cameramen here. I've got the same 7 cameramen I had the first day we started over 14 years ago. And I'll never be able to say that again because we lost Don. And I always felt really comfortable because he stood right next to Robin out there, and he always took care of her and patted her. And Robin, I know it meant a lot to you to have Don there for 14 years, true?
Yes, it did. It did. I really feel like I lost a best friend because he did. He told me in season 1, like the first week, that he had my back and that he would protect me, and he always looked out for me and looked at me and made sure I was okay, and shook my hand every day. He always knew I was very nervous to be in front of the camera, and so every time I would walk up there, he would peek around, and he always thought you were hilarious. And I just loved it when you would say something funny, and he would try to be still and be quiet and do his job, but he would just bust out laughing. I don't know, he was just precious. He's precious.
Well, Don was a special guy. He was actually a lawyer and a fine cameraman, and it was interesting. So many days I would see him as I was leaving after the show, and he would say, "Hey, Doc, thanks for that show today. Really needed to hear that," or "That was a great show. Important things we're doing here." So just really proud to be part of it. And he was just that sincere a guy. So Don Davis, you will be missed. We'll see you next time.